All right, aloha friends, game time with the Goss. I'm Brian Gossett, your host, and today here joined with LD Bell, girls basketball coach Andy Bloodworth. Good to see you, coach, and hopefully you're enjoying your holiday break. Um, Bell is off to a 21-1 start, number 13 in this week's 6A state rankings by the TABAC. Andy, just give me an idea what's the key to your success so far this season and that 21-1 record.
Well, to be honest with you, I think it started last year. Last year we didn't have any seniors on the team, so we knew it was going to be kind of a reload season because we had a couple of our key players out due to injury. So it was just really a building season and an investment, and wasn't our best season at LD Bell by any means. This first year we ever missed the playoffs, but the girls stayed locked in, and we told them it was a marathon, not a sprint. So, we're kind of seeing the product of that this year off of last year's investment.
And you just started district on Tuesday?
Excuse me?
Did you just start district play?
Let's see. We played 3 games, so let's see. It would have been last Tuesday.
Okay, awesome. Just talk about the start to district play so far, and what have you seen from your players?
Oh, they're doing well. I mean, we pride ourselves on defense, and that's something they've taken pride in, and it's something they take. They just really want to go out every day and try to hold opponents under 40 points. And right now we're averaging in the low 30s as far as points given up. So trying to think here, I think we've given up 31, and maybe 29. So we know we've got some tough teams after break, but we're just trying to just really key on our defense.
I know a lot of coaches they don't really pay attention to the rankings, but I mean, what does that say to be recognized that high by the state?
Well, honestly, I didn't even realize it until one of the parents told me. That's something I really never even look at, to be honest with you. So it was a surprise, to be honest with you, because a lot of these tournaments we've gone to this year, there's been quite a few 5 and 6A teams in it, but it's just worked out where we're playing upper level 4A teams and whatnot. So sometimes that goes unnoticed, but at the same time, a lot of these teams that we've played have been traditional powerhouses. The Bridgeports, Ponders, the Sangers, teams like that typically make a run for the regional tournaments. So it's nice, but at the same time, it's I don't put a lot of weight into it because I know we've got some big time opponents after Christmas.
All right, awesome. And yeah, just talk about what's coming up or what's on your schedule.
Yep, we've got Crowley when we come back, and then Boswell may be one of the best teams in the state. So they're probably a top 5 team for sure. And then of course we've got North Crowley, who won district last year. So we've got 3 big dogs. It's going to be really tough. They're way more athletic than we are. Like I said, we just try to play good defense and try to hang around in games, and so it's going to be a good matchup. I know they're rolling all 3 of those schools, and like I said, they're super athletic.
Talking with Bell coach Andy Bloodworth, you spent a lot of years in HEB and LD Bell, and also back in Oklahoma, your home state, coaching. First off, how long have you been the head coach at LD Bell?
This is year 7, I believe.
And then in Oklahoma, you spent was it 9 years?
For 9 years.
Um, when you got to be a head coach in Texas, did you see any differences between how girls basketball is here in Texas versus Oklahoma?
Yeah, especially in the Metroplex. Some of the best athletes in the nation. So it's a lack of better terms, it's a little bit more of an NBA game down here where a lot of people can create. and it, you've got anywhere from 1 to 8 or 9 D1 players on the floor at one time. Whereas in Oklahoma, it's much more methodical, a lot more. I wouldn't call it X's and O's, but it's you don't see those athletes night in and night out. You may go all season and maybe see a handful, where we've got that on the floor almost every night down here.
You mentioned you kind of pride yourself on defense, and your team is allowing a few points this year. But where does that come from? Is that well past before your coaching days, or was that something that you had to really do while coaching in Oklahoma?
To be honest with you, I just grew up around the game for so long. I was actually back when uh, University of Oklahoma back in '88 during their run with their good teams. I was ball boy for them for 2 or 3 seasons, and they were averaging 120 points, whatever. But just Coach Tubbs. I mean, him and I were real close, and being in the locker rooms at halftime before the game, he believe it or not stressed defense, and I mean that's kind of where it started with me. I prided myself when I played high school, college, and it's just something we've always done with my teams. It's just really tried to turn defense into offense.
Yeah, Boomer Sooner, brother.
Absolutely, Boomer Sooner.
Um, I believe there's a new rule with the free throw shooting this year and the fouls. Am I correct on that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No more 1-and-1s.
Just have you seen a difference with that at all?
I've heard a lot of coaches say they have, and to be 100% honest, I haven't noticed a difference because we kind of have a code word whenever we get to that 3 or 4 foul limit, and we kind of say that code word, and everybody repeats it, and we know that we don't need to put ourselves in that situation to get to the other team to the line for 2 free shots. So does it work 100% of the time? No, but it's something we're very aware of, and it really has not affected any of our games.
All right, so just for to help me out, since I'm still sort of in football mode. So it's just 5 fouls each quarter. The fifth foul, you start shooting two.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And it was before, it was for the half, right? 7, 1-and-1, 10 is the double bonus.
Absolutely. Yep.
um, I don't think when you were coaching Oklahoma, there was no shot clock, right?
Correct. Correct.
Uh, I don't know what's your take on the shot clock. Are you for it? How come we haven't? I know it's been discussed every year by the UIL. Will we ever see a shot clock in Texas high school basketball?
Yeah, I think it's going to happen, and I'm pretty neutral on it. It's kind of like this new rule we were just talking about, the 2 shots. Everybody will adapt. There will be time of figuring X's and O's and strategies out, but I think those of us that played in college are going to have a little bit better grasp on it and understanding. And but yeah, I mean it's going to come probably sooner than later, and it's just like anything. Things evolve and people adapt.
Well, why do you think every year they discuss it and it just doesn't come?
I think a lot of it is funding. You're going to have to buy all the equipment. Then you're going to have to pay an extra person at the scores table to run it. So, I mean, I think a lot of it, honestly, is funding.
Back to your team and your players, you mentioned some of your girls were injured last year, and now they're back, and you guys sound healthy. Just talk about some of those girls, kind of stepping up this year.
Yeah, yeah. I think having those two back gives us definitely the depth we didn't have last year, and the depth that we did build last year has really risen up this year, and to be perfectly honest with you, we've got two girls that would contribute quite a bit that have been out all season this year with ACLs. Fortunately, they're just freshmen, but at the same time, you know, it's almost like last year. We've got a couple sitting over there that can really help us, but with them being freshmen, they're gaining valuable experience, whether it's in the locker room, whether it's in practice, and challenge them to really be leaders and stay locked in. And they're doing a great job. And for those that came back from last year, it's kind of just reciprocated. They were stayed bought in last year, and they've hit the ground running this year. So yeah, they're both starting and doing a great job for us. So we're very proud of them.
I think on Tuesday I saw where Lexi Gordon came out and watched the game. Just what do you remember about the Gordon sisters with Lexi and Mara, who's now at Pepperdine?
Yeah, just true competitors, I think is the best way to put it. And that's a very broad uh, word, but I mean, they compete in practice, they compete on the floor, they compete with each other. And I think a lot of that comes back from parenting. Kim and Myron were great, always very supportive, and it's always great seeing past Lady Raiders come back and watch us. And after the game was really cool because I kind of said what I needed to say to the team. I look and I see Lexi walking over, and I introduced her because a lot of these girls, they were young, may or may not have remembered her, so I had to introduce her, and I said, kind of gave her past and said, she's probably could be playing in the WNBA right now, but she's on her way to being a trophy wife. She married or gonna marry a NBA player, and so I was like, "Hey, Lexi, you got anything? Words of encouragement, places we can get better, things we're doing great." And yeah, she told them what they needed to hear, and I'm glad for that because it's a lot of the things that we're telling them all the time, and it's good for them to hear it from somebody else.
Have you at all had a chance to see what Myra's been doing at Pepperdine?
Yeah, I've finally bit the bullet and got me ESPN Plus, so I'm able to watch Myra. I'm able to watch the twins at Morehead State. So yeah, they're doing great. I'm so proud of them, and they're representing themselves and representing their university and the LD Bell Lady Raider program very nicely.
And I'll get you out on this. Just curious. I think you were there, but were you there at the Bell football game against Trinity?
Absolutely.
And what do you remember about that night?
It's just electric. It's I they really thought they should have won the game last year, and so they really had something to prove this year, and they just believed. I mean, they didn't wonder if they were going to win. They went in with the attitude that it's our time, and it was an electric atmosphere the entire night. But honestly, all week at Bell. I mean, it was leading up to the pep rally, then to the game. It was just, it was just something that is going to be a memory for all those fans, all those kids, all those coaches, everybody for the rest of their lives. So it's Coach Dibble's doing a great job, and very proud to see where their future is going.
And I mean, what's the rivalry like on the court with Trinity?
Oh, it's always a great rivalry. It's one of those deals where any given night anybody can win, just like last year. I mean, they were 25 points better than us, and somehow we beat them at our place first game of district, and then we go over to their place and they beat us like they should have. But any given night, I mean, throw the records out the window. So that's what's cool about rivalries. You just never know.
Awesome. That's LD Bell head coach, girls head coach, Andy Bloodworth. Andy, we appreciate the time. Enjoy the holiday weekend there in Oklahoma, and good luck the rest of the season.
Yes, sir. I always appreciate everything you do, Brian.
All right, I'm Brian Gossett. That's another episode of Game Time with the Goss. Have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time.